The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not the power. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with their speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to grieve? You see, we just tell you that's why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not the power. I said no one to trust. My people, no one to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer. No work, but people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us. The people lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not the power. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with their speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to grieve? You see, we just tell you that's why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not the power. I said no one to trust. My people, no one to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer. No work, but people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, so the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not corrupt. Said they go afford, but they too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer, no work, but people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So why? The government should lie. Why?
Well, folks, good morning and a pleasant welcome to exclude him from the entire system. What makes him significant?
Two questions, your journalist.
I'm asking you.
No, the question can answer question. Okay.
What makes your political leader so significant?
Since 2017, which political leader, in your opinion, has been working?
Who you think have worked more than your political leader, or your political leader have worked more than?
I don't even see other people working. I see him working.
Okay.
That's an obvious fact. I hope you can resonate with that.
Okay.
All right. Secondly, who sets themselves apart from the rest of the group in terms of integrity, in terms of competence, in terms of vision, in terms of experience, in terms of production? Who does that?
Do you really think your political leader has the integrity to lead this country than any other political leader?
Without doubt, he definitely does.
Okay.
Because under this leadership, this current leadership, it has been demonstrated that corruption is rife.
Okay.
It has been demonstrated that there's no effort to curtail. So we are not involved, right? On the line of
you always see them interacting whenever they meet because they were once together.
Chairman Gu, how are you, sir?
Good morning.
Because once a chairman, always a chairman. So that's why I'm calling you Chairman Gu.
Thank you. Good morning.
Okay. Welcome to Spoon TV.
You're quite welcome. It's always a pleasure being here.
Okay, so you're here for this case.
La ma tutu ya o. Ma tu ma kelo ma. E do ma tu mo dan ni bida. Yeah. La ma tutu ya. La ma tutu da. E no ma tu ni bida. Yeah. La ma tutu na.
I'm a transgender person. You treat me differently. We're all Ugandans and we are protected.
Do you need counseling?
The Constitution. I do not need counseling.
Okay, Sebo, let me help you, sir.
I do not need counseling.
I'm glad she's talking about for everyone. It's a she. You see, this one is a banana.
Don't abuse someone's
sex. I know her.
This gentleman is a transgender.
She's a female. There are no two. It is either male or female. Let me first tell you, sodomy is about confusion. Now, I want to bring you to speed. This person is confused, and she's exporting her confusion. She's a woman, but she's thinking, excuse me, Phil, I've given you a chance. You see, a banana is different from a cucumber. A carrot is different from a banana. I want you to understand. You cannot equate. No, these are not equal. So for you to say we are advocating for everyone's right. When you are a sodomite, you are committing a crime. and a crime that makes you social. Excuse me.
They have a right.
You have a social obligation. This is a truth. You have a social obligation when you commit a crime. If you knock someone, you commit a crime. So for you to come and say, we want to advocate for anyone's right, criminals and innocent people, they are not the same. Men and women are not the same.
Now, Pastor,
so
have you been affected by what they do?
Of course.
How?
I am at Makerere. These people have begun several organizations. First of all, the Americans and the Europeans are putting a lot of money in the faculty of law to train people like this one in how to come and speak. Now she's going to go back and ask for money. Again, I follow you ardently on your Facebook. I follow you ardently.
Thank you.
So I'm not uninformed. This one is part of sexual minorities.
Question on gay rights. And I've answered this question, and perhaps not too elegantly. And I've used the words that I'm conflicted by this issue, but let me explain why. Let me explain what I mean by that. It's a lifestyle that I struggle with. As important, though, I believe, Liberians are also focused on health, education, jobs, and I also want us to focus the conversation on those issues.
You think the answer to that question the right way?
I don't know if that's
because it's a very sensitive.
It's a very sensitive issue, and I don't know if that's a right.
There was a strip with youth support is something that you would,
Mamadi, I think I've answered the question the way I'm comfortable answering it. And again, I gotta be authentic to who I am. There will be a political answer that people will perhaps want to hear, but I gotta be real, Alex, and I want the Liberian people to see the real person, and that I will not change my answer to suit different situations. I think that's the kind of leader we should be looking for. Okay. Question on gay rights, and I've answered this question, and perhaps not too elegantly. And I've used the words that I'm conflicted by this issue, but let me explain why. Let me explain what I mean by that.
It should be a factor. Now,
Biden is 78 years old when he was president. I left at 78.
And the way, Joe Biden is in a government that is structured. A government that existed for many, many years. He has many structures around.
Joe Biden is got problem.
Wait.
There you go.
Let me tell you something. Age is a factor in this election. Let me just say, whether you like it or not, whether our supporters like it, and the reason why
is gold.
And the reason why that is, you guys not like it. As well, maybe you're a young man, but I know as an aging person, there are things that I can't do when I was 30 that I can do now, especially as it relates to my cognitive ability.
Dr. Richardson,
but let me also tell you this, and let me tell you this.
This is important. I have to make this point.
Let me tell you this. Yes, I will. Let me finish, okay? Now, I'm not just saying, I'm not generalizing to say that, okay, just because somebody is 80, that means they can't function, okay? However, we have to assess that. That is something that needs to be,
hold on. Stand on.
Let
me say something. This is very important.
But you will come back in, Dr. Richardson. Dr. Richardson, you will come back and give him a chance to let him speak.
Yeah, but you keep on distracting.
I watch this show. This is the only talk show I watch whenever I can. I don't watch other talk shows, right? So I pay attention. Whenever I can, I watch this show.
Thank you for
Dr. Richardson is a highly educated professional.
Correct.
She's a psychologist or something. She uses a certain word that most Liberians don't understand the meaning of, but I do because I'm educated too. The phrase is cognitive ability.
Correct.
My people, when Dr. Richardson uses that phrase to describe Joe Biden, she is in a nuanced way, in an educated way, questioning Joe Biden's mental agility, his ability to think straight, to make decisions. You see, she's using both. But thankfully, she's using book that common people can understand, but I can understand it. Cognitive ability. Let me say something to Dr. Richardson about Joe Biden cognitive ability. Day before yesterday, Joe Biden and I had a conversation for 35 minutes. During that conversation, Joe Biden said 3 things to me from his CWA days. That's over 40 years ago. Let me tell you what he said to me about 50 years ago. Joe Biden said,
he had a certain sense.
Maybe he got a long-term cognitive ability instead of a short-term. They got
No, see, be questioning the man be where now? Go back and tell me three things. I'll explain. He had a science teacher named Mrs. Ernestine Smith. She was his physics teacher. Joe Bagay said, every day the woman would go to class. When she leave, when the class is over, she would say, homework. The next day, when they come back to class, she would ask, who all did the homework? Everybody would raise their hand. She would get everybody 93 across the board. That was her routine. One day, Joe Bagay used to do the homework every time, but he realized that some of his classmates never used to do the homework. So one day he said, well, I realized my classmates don't do the homework, so I'm not going to do it today. The day he didn't do the homework was the day the woman said, everybody produce the homework. He never had homework. So he realized that he would never follow people. He was making a point. The moral of the story is that Henry, whenever I follow people, he gave me 3 examples. This is from over 50 years ago. The second one he explained to me, his chemistry teacher told them, this is a CWA, when you heat glass, it can bend. He said, Henry, all the boys used to heat the glass, it will bend, but it will not break. Everybody will heat it, it will bend, but it will not break. The one time I went to heat the glass, it just broke. I said, okay, that's like 2. I will not follow people when they do wrong. So the third time, his friends, they were doing physics. His friends spy from a paper. And they wrote the exact same answer he wrote, and the teacher gave all 3 of them 0, 0, 0. Joe Bagay said those 3 experiences taught him in life from that early age. Do not follow people, Henry, because whenever I follow people, I get caught, they don't get caught.
You sure so you're not the one that spy?
I go to government, but I ain't the one that spy. Joe, you can spy.
But no, let's keep the conversation, please.
I go to the government, oh, you want to talk about spying? Like he don't want to go wreck on dollar, he get a piece of paper you're ready for it.
So go keep the conversation.
Let me name them. You see Magio and Samuel, they are the king Juju people. Or you mean that the other people that play with Juju? You see Finabono, you see Tokompui and Finabono. Tokompui has one ball with him that he brought from Africa Coast. It is that ball that he's saying, that's why every year, every 3 months, that ball will go Africa Coast. That beginning will go Africa Coast will go bring Juju for Toko and Finabono. I will give you more detail on this. While Liberians are suffering in Monrovia, they ain't got food to eat. This lady sent $10,000 United States every month, every year, every month to his daughter in America. They let her live a lavish life. You go to New Jersey, those who live in New Jersey will attest to what I'm saying. You know, we're not saying these things because we want to give. I want nothing from nobody. But it is about time that the life of the people who struggle with us, the Liberian people who stood, the people who pretend their own t-shirt, who bowed their heads, who laid on the floors, who went into the trenches with President George Weah. It is about time that those people begin to benefit and reap what they saw in what is called the revolution that brought the CDC to power. That's all we want. That's all we want. That's all we want. That's all we ask for. Every one of them around the president. So sometimes President Weah is messing up, but he's confused. They have put the president in the juju part. Finabono deals directly with the wife of Smith Towe, who is the cook to the president. She brings the dust, give it to this woman, the woman put it in the food. And then, so by the time the president eat that food, the president can be hacked from Finabono. Everything Finabono say is fine. Which chief of protocol will slap the first lady and go scot-free? Nothing happened to her. Chief of protocol slap first lady. Nothing happened. Who will do that in this day and time? Donald Trump said that people will say he got problem. His wife, nobody can do that to his wife. But Finabono did it to the first lady right here in Monrovia. Right here in Monrovia. Right here in Monrovia. Why do you think she depends on? She does it because she has put the president in a corner that absolutely the president can do nothing by himself. They have all buried this president. The pastors, what are you doing? Bishop Winker, you are the godfather for this man. This man is dying slowly. You're playing from way. You're thinking of 4 people making here. You're thinking of 4 people making here. The Liberty ministry, Overcomer ministry, what are you doing? Bishop, what are you doing? What are you people doing? The Redeemed Church. What is the church in Liberia doing? What are you doing? It is about time that you rise up to save and protect and save Liberia for these 2 people that are around President Bia. Finabono is dealing. Tokompui is dealing. Right now, as I speak to you, the president is about to send Tokompui to a public well. Magay want it because Toko and Magay can poop. They can see eye to eye. So how can this be? Right now, that's a battle right now going on. The president want to send Toko to a public well. Magay want Joseph Tor, who happens to be a close man to Magay. Magay want Joseph Tor to be the minister of public.
Minister Magay, DeLong, and DeLong said that let Minister Magay tell us where he got the money from to buy his home. In less than 6 weeks into his position, he was able to go and get money to buy his home. I think actually we need clarity on that. What's going on between you and the sitting senator? Why is he coming up with this story?
I really did not want to respond to DeLong. In 1997, DeLong had an opportunity to work with Minister of Justice in the Solicitor General office. And by 98, I was working in the Attorney General office at the time. I was at the University of Liberia, going to school at the university. I don't know which school DeLong was in at the time. But however, he and I worked at the Minister of Justice for 4 years. And I thought DeLong, the fact that now he's a senator, you'll be more mature. But the fact that DeLong is accusing me of a horse that I bought or I entered in 4 years ago and tried to accuse me of corruption only suggests that he really doesn't have an issue. Somebody needs to add DeLong when he declared his asset. He declared that he had $3.50. He worked for 9 months. According to him, he was making $5,000. By the end of the 9 months, he had $96,000 in his account plus $20,000, $24,000 US dollars. That's over 100 and something thousand. Calculate. I don't know where he got the money from. But there's a real issue that I don't want to go to, and DeLong knows. And DeLong does not want me to expose him because I'm the Minister of State. And I know telephone calls that I get from these individuals. And so I don't want to go into DeLong's closet. Because if I go into DeLong's closet, DeLong will be disgraced. But the good news is, if DeLong is only accusing me of a horse, and he claimed that because I said I will get a loan from one bank, please suggest of supposing that no other bank will give me a loan, there's something wrong with him.
Mr. McGill, I'm going to interrupt you. You don't want to go in there, but I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go in there. Senator DeLong, pressure the government of Liberia, the administration, for $2 million before and he would take part to sign for the new banknotes for him. He and his Liberty cronies.
Let me get your information on the banknote issue. DeLong had made an argument that he wanted a report for the $4 billion before he would sign the agreement. He never had any disposition, but he was making some demands. The report was given to DeLong. How the $4 billion was used. And I said, Senator DeLong, you just get a check of $633,000 issued in Liberian labor, and you say asking how other people use the money. The central bank has issued that $1 billion was used on government expenditure. $2 billion went to a commercial bank, and the report is in your hand, and you're using the report if to say you want to do. So you can now see and Keith Hassan is saying because they were making demand for other issues, and they now accusing people of being corrupt. But I think if you talk about corruption, Delon should ask himself. I think he's the main man who is in the center of corruption. And if Delon want to have a debate on the issue, we're exposing. And I'm ready to expose Delon. And he knows
$2
what
million.
I'm talking about.
$2 million.
I'm ready to expose Delon on all his dirty deeds. I Delon, how you going to sit down now when you're making $5,000 per month? I'm on 9 times 5 hours. You know math. 9 times 5 45. Where you got the extra money from? And he proud to say he going to come on radio. So let's not end a good conversation on the long issue. I beg you, gentlemen. I beg you. When I
Mr. Miguel, I understand Kev make some statement here tonight. Are you agreeing? Are you agreeing with what Kev said that they don't demand $200 million?
$2 million. $2 million.
$2 million.
$2 million US dollars? Yeah, $2 million USD.
I have given his information. But I'm telling you, I have sufficient information on Delon. If Delon wants to be exposed, I will expose him.
Wow. Ben, we're going to close. Mr. Miguel.
We come and cut a legitimate salary from workers instead of increasing or just leaving it at a less, but to have removed it as per their power. We are calling on the legislature. When we say legislature, we mean the lower house and the House of Representatives. As you can see today, the staff here is comprises of the House of Representatives and the House of Senate. So we're giving them 3 days ultimatum. 3 days ultimatum to meet the concerned staff authorities as to how they're going to restore that money and pay it retroactively. Any move other than that, I can promise you that the legislature, none of them will enter here, especially those of them that want to be senator. It is very right that's happening to have seen even the chair at the lower house of Representatives, Honorable Thomas Fala, to say you want to be senator for Mosoralo when you have committed mayhem on staffer in Mosoralo who's supposed to vote for him. You have committed mayhem even on staffer in your office that campaigning for you over 8 months. They cannot get their salary by law, by Civil 7 law. It's happening. And any staffer under my voice who want to camp back for Honorable Thomas Fala who have committed mayhem on you, and you can restore this money, you vote for him, you are cursed. You are cursed on our law, on our strategic law. You are cursed. So we call it on them. The gasoline, the recast budget, the gasoline for Starbucks to the lower house were being called off. When it came to the Senate restored the Starbucks gasoline here. What happened to our colleagues down the line? Everyone do?
I'm a transgender person. You treat me differently. We're all Ugandans and we are protected.
Do you need counseling?
The Constitution. I do not need counseling.
Sebo, let me help you, sir.
I do not need counseling.
I'm glad she's talking about for everyone. It's a she. You see, this one is a banana.
Don't abuse someone's sex.
I know her.
This gentleman is a transgender.
She's a female. There are no two. It is either male or female. Let me first tell you, sodomy is about confusion. Now, I want to bring you to speed. This person is confused and she's exporting her confusion. She's a woman, but she's thinking, excuse me, Phil, I've given you a chance. You see, a banana is different from a cucumber. A carrot is different from a banana. I want you to understand. You cannot equate. No, these are not equal. So for you to say we are advocating for everyone's right. When you are a sodomite, you are committing a crime. And a crime that makes you social, excuse me.
They have a right.
No. You have a social obligation. This is a truth. You have a social obligation when you commit a crime. If you knock someone, you commit a crime. So for you to come and say, we want to advocate for anyone's right, criminals and innocent people, they are not the same. Men and women are not the same.
Now, Pastor, so have you been affected by what they do?
Of course.
How?
I am at Makerere. These people have begun several organizations. First of all, the Americans and the Europeans are putting a lot of money in the faculty of law to train people like this one in how to come and speak. Now she's going to go back and ask for money. Again, I follow you ardently on your Facebook. I follow you ardently.
Thank you.
So I'm not uninformed. This one is part of sexual minority.
My friend and brother, how you doing?
Life is getting interesting every single day. Oh my God, social media. Ah, man, tonight is another beautiful night, and we are glad in it, and we are hopeful, and we are motivated. And therefore, we are here to continue our contribution to Mama Liberia. And we are asking our folks, our audience, to join us to do just that, so that they too can share with us tonight on this What's on Your Mind. And so far, so good. North Dakota is quiet. The snow is turning to black ice, and we got to be careful how we drive. But we are here. God is with us, and we are strong, moving strong. I'll be back to you.
You know, for me, you know, it have been excellent. You know, for me, life in Minneapolis, specifically Minnesota, have been excellent. So what must we do? We are here tonight to be able to let in the minds of our comrades and compeers, and to be able to dive into some issues. You know, that's the reason why we are becoming one of the best. So with us tonight, we are glad to say to our audience that we are here to ask you, what is on your mind? What do you think? You know, what do you think that it is an impact to our comrades and compeers back home? What differently can we do? What is it that the police, is the police doing their job? We want to know all of that. That is the reason why we have an open mic tonight, to be able to ask our compeers and our comrades to be able to tell us. Back to you.
Yes, like, yeah, you know, there are a lot of stuff going on in Liberia right now. And the last time somebody on we were discussing similar topic, like just trying to vent out our curiosity. But honestly speaking, you know, every human being got some challenges, got some good and bad situation. Every organization, every country. But what matters most to people like us, political analysts and public policy specialists, it is the determination on the part of the government or any human being or organization to confront their challenges that matter most. But from all indications where we are right now, we do not see that kind of muscle or that kind of audacity on the part of the George Weah-led government to be able to practically confront the challenges of our people as a governor, along with his lieutenants. And every single day and night, those that we elected, those that we empower our elected officials to appoint, everyone is shifting blame on political correctness as well as on the previous government. I don't know which political theory they are reading. I do not know what kind of governance policy they are reading. I really do not know from what standpoint of empirical analysis that they are reading from. Because you cannot blame somebody for what is happening today on someone who was there yesterday, on the basis of our political system. And those folks that were there, the majorities of our people, the Liberian people, the voters, they prefer the CDC-led government 2017. I don't know why CDC-led government, instead of moving forward, have decided to backward uh, head our system of government. I think it is unfortunate. It is embarrassing. And now that embarrassment is now causing our lives and property destruction. I think they need to go back on the drawing board, reevaluate, re-examine, and recalibrate the manifesto of the CDC based on their campaign promises. The CDC political party in opposition at the time told us, the Liberian people, that they were the best and they had the best brains, the best tools. Everything was just best. All they wanted the Liberian people to do for them was to give them the opportunity to lead. Now we give it to them. They are not leading well. They are leading from behind. But every day is a blinking theory. The other people did it before. In fact, if we do this, the people will say that. The people will say that. Come on. That's fake. That's not an excuse. If you were elected by the people of Liberia to steer the affairs of our state, and that affairs key on the agenda is security and protections of our people and their property. And you cannot even afford, you do not have the ability to even protect Morovia, the seat of the government. We are not even talking about Mosrado County. Probably that is too big. The executive mansion that was also used during the campaign as an example of corruption. CDC-led government have been in power for 4 years. They are doing the same thing. The executive mansion renovation was allotted, got budgetary allotment about 11 times, 11 to 12 times when Ellen was there. Since Judge Weakin, they have offered budget to the executive mansion 4 times. But what happened to those allotments, we do not know because we do not have a legislature. There is something we call budget performance. It's actually following the money. On the basis of my education, my area of education, but every single budget, every single item on the budget must have a program. Must have a program. When that budget year is executed, there must be a budget performance telling our legislator under their oversight responsibility. You know, to make sure we give $5 to Palawo Public School, and that $5 was used for Palawo Public School. But our first branch of government is now taking directive from the people they're supposed to supervise, the executive. And that is another problem. In as much as our government and our country is a presidential country, or presidential system of governance, I think the legislature need to do better. They need to do better because what we're seeing now is way alarming. It is raising international concern. They are talking about bicentennial to celebrate our 200 years of existence from 1822 to 2022. But to have 29 to 32 people killed as a result of going to serve their God in an open field, it is troubling. It is troubling. If we cannot kill a rat, we're not going to kill a cat before we kill a dog. If we cannot succeed to prosecute a cat in competent court of jurisdiction, we're not going to successfully prosecute a dog. It's going to be big time. The state of affairs in terms of security is ugly. Mr. Weir, You need to double up. Inconclusive investigation is not enough. I said it here the last time, the people of Liberia, especially urban areas, our people are now under compulsory curfew every single night. That is not good for a country that is not at war with anybody. There is no dissident activity, there's no rebel activity. But people are going to bed already hungry. Now they have to start to worry about their life and their survival. It is alarming. It is not good for our country. And you are crying about investment. Who's going to come to a country where people went to worship their God and almost everybody died? Who's going to come over there to invest their money? Tell me, pretty much. You are just telling the people stay away. Don't come here. So my people, we have come here tonight to give you the opportunity to call and drop off your ideas so we all can make it interactive tonight. And the next few minutes, maybe 1 hour, we can call it a night. And let's keep talking. Maybe it will be better one of these days. The day we get a leaders that will say enough is enough, probably that will be the best time for us. But we are not talking for ourselves right now. We are talking for the next generation because we already done. Before 1990, we were talking about our future. Our future king already passed. So we are talking about the other children that have been born today. For those of us that were not even born 1990, were already on earth, 12 years old maybe, or 13 years. Just do the math. Just do the math. We passed 40 ever since. So it's not easy. Folks, it is not easy. This is something serious, and all of us need to say something about it. Give it back to you.
You know, let me tell you, thank you for your expose. But you know, what do you expect? What do you expect from a government that came into power before their manifesto was carved? When a government was elected, Abraham, many of my followers talked to me and they said, give this man a chance. At that time, I was able to host those criminals. I call them criminals because they are proving it. Those criminals, I was able to host them in Pennsylvania. The last of Samuel 12. The last of, there were five ministers and directors. Eugene Nangbe, everybody. I was able to host, I was able to organize one of the biggest gathering for these criminals. Only for us to realize that these Ghanaians, they are dipping deeper into their pockets. Do you know that Samuel 12 house, in the morning that people line up, our citizens, our older folks then line up to this young man's house for bread. And then we claim that the country is getting better. We claim that Liberia is getting better because our people are living in abject poverty. We claim that our country is getting better. We claim that yes, indeed, that Liberia is getting better because who the investor that will look at Liberia that will go invest in Liberia, who the investor? The president was giving, they had a summit in Kuwait, in the United Arab Emirates. The president was giving more than 35 minutes, I think about 45 minutes. The Ghanaian president was giving 15 minutes. The Ghanaian president was able to lay the basics. Why it is important now for you guys to invest into Ghana. At the end of that conference, the Ghanaian governments were able to benefit hugely from that. While Liberia, the investor that came, they said they coming to Liberia to come to see. Since that Ara Ghana came, they left. They have never called neither Nathaniel Mage or the president. You think the Ghana they are now washing? You think the Ghana they are fools? When the investor was left from Germany, the two investors left from Germany. They came and they went, those investors wanted to invest into Buchanan. They went to Buchanan. Those investors went to Buchanan. They left lying into their bedrooms. When those criminals, and you know who I'm talking about, the Porcupine Warriors. One Porcupine Warrior who is supported by Nathaniel Follow McGill, who they were giving Jeep pickups by Nathaniel Follow McGill's. When the Ghana went, they killed the people and took out $2,000. That is the reason why today our government, our president cannot even talk about Germany. You want for investors to come to your country when your country is gangsterized. When gangsters are, when broad daylight, when people are passing on Broad Street, you got a whole, you find yourself will not need to be exposed. If not, the Ghanaian will slap you to take it from you. So, you know, for me, I just laugh. I told one of my audience, I said, you're the same people that said that I should give this man change. You're seeing what I was saying. You see, our country is like something is actually wrong with us. It's like something is actually wrong with us that we have not yet realized who is the rightful leader for our country. You saw Alexander Cummings going to court, and our people were paid. Our people were paid, our brothers then were paid for them to go there to demonstrate, to go there to say they are peacefully demonstrating. Oh, yesterday, the same government ran behind Costa. He never said nothing. He never said nothing. The same police, they wasted tear gas on free citizens because they want to go demonstrate. He never said nothing. But they have repeated the same thing. Now then you crying wolf. You know, I will miss Paul. Let me call Paul, so Paul can be able to. It just saw. Yeah, Paul. How you doing? Yeah, Paul.
I'm following the show. When you're opening the line?
No, we open the line currently.
Oh, okay. I want to make my input, but I just tuned in, so I didn't know the topic on a discussion.
The topic on our discussions is what on your mind.
Oh, okay, fine, very good. It's just an open mic. Okay. Basically, what is on my mind right now, has to do with the issue. I got two issues on my mind.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, one has to do with the incident that happened in Nickel time. I firstly want to register my condolences to the victim's family, and I'm also encouraging them to be strong in these kind of difficult times. Moreover, I think in my mind, there are a lot of things that need to be done. One, the security measure to be put in place. However, is the government responsibility to ensure proper security for its citizens, regardless of what, whether the pastor or prophet, whoever, whatever he may be called, ask for security protection for his event or not. The environment under which our people live should be free of terrorism, because that's terroristic act, terrorism, gangsterism, and you name the rest. So for people to go on a crusade, to go seek the face of God, to go for revival, has nothing to do with criminal infiltrating and trying to create havoc.
But you're telling me you're telling me that the church does not have their own security?
Now, whether the church has has their own security or not.
Because no. What made me to say that?
Mm-hmm.
It is because the church they can be having people that can be posted all around. I call that.
I think they call them the usher, right? Is that the usher?
Yeah, I think so. They can be
Okay.
posted all around for any.
They are not security people.
Yeah, but in that case, they were not usher and not securities.
Okay.
Usher are people who usher people in, find seat for them, place them in a position, and help them understand the proceeding and how the service goes.
Okay.
So they are not security.
But
So,
how come the Zoko were able to go penetrate and left on the nine people? That is the one that I up to now that I'm confused.
that is why I'm saying in our environment there should be free movement of people gathering and what have you. Now, because those people gather does not give any criminal the right to infiltrate to create havoc. So if Liberia was a safe country, those things would not have happened. Here in America, it would not easily happen. Definitely, there will be a rapid response from the police. And what was the response from our national security when this stampede or whatever happened occurred in the midst of our people? How rapid were they when it comes to responding to the needs and trying to rescue the situation? We need to look at all that. Remember, our president said we should be our own security, and we should CCTV. Yeah. So, if a leader of a state tells you should have CC camera, that means the security of the people is in jeopardy. That means he cannot provide security for his own people that he governs, the people that elected him, the people that employ him. He's telling them that I cannot provide security. Your safety is not in my hand. I am not responsible for you. So that statement was reckless or irresponsible, and it undermines the democracy and free movement of our society. That's one issue that I have to discuss. Let that go.
Yeah. What
Now,
is the second issue?
the second issue has to do with the legal proceeding that is ongoing between ANC criminal defendant Alexander Cummings versus ALP through the.
You call the man criminal?
He's a criminal defendant.
Okay.
Under our law, he should be called a criminal defendant until proven non guilty.
Okay. I agree with
That's the legal proceeding.
Okay,
So the ANC folks don't like to hear that. You see, there's a saying in the Grove vernacular, it's a parable. And every Grove person who understands, especially from the south, from the River G belt downward, will understand and know this. It says, I'm not going to speak the Grove vernacular, but I will explain that parable and interpret in English. They say if a person goes in the forest, right, and trying to look in the hollow of the tree, that means the rotten tree, or you bend down to look into it, Be careful. Don't think because you are in the forest.
I'm coming to you. Just hold on. I'm coming to you.
Far from you, who you don't see, sees in your behind. Why am I saying this?
Okay.
He who comes with equity comes with clean hands. Okay. Mr. Cummings, criminal defendants, have always preached equity, preach being clean, preach being free from corruption. But what the ANC and Mr. Cummings don't understand is this: you cannot determine a corrupt person until he or she is tested into a corrupt system. That's one. Who knew that Josh Weah would have been a corrupt, wicked, and bad leader today? Who knew that?
But once I said Mr. Kumi have been tested, because the man self has
Bo
adapter. The man self on Noka, I don't know how they call it. The man
okay, so if he served on Noka's board, Malasali have claimed responsibility, that she takes responsibility that her son, the board chairman, had corrupted the board, and the board went, and Noka went bankruptcy. So if he was a member of that board, that means he's part of the corruption that led to the bankruptcy of Noka. So Noka needs to be audited. BWI has not been audited. I haven't read any audit report from BWI as he sat on the board of them. Now, let me say something to people. The corporate war.
All right now, because we have.
No, I will land on two notes, please. I beg you, Chief. I'm begging you. The corporate war is different from the public sector. Public sector is different from private sector. Now, Coca-Cola, that Mr. Cummings claims that he worked for several years and he was corruption free. The system was built. Here in America, I challenge you. I challenge anybody. I work here. You work here. You cannot corrupt the people system that has already been built and set up. There is no way that you can corrupt it. Now, if Mr. Cummings goes into the public sector, a corrupt system like Liberia, now will determine from his output whether he's corrupt or not. Now, look at, he has not assumed the presidency. Look at what he's doing just with the framework document. He had corrupted the system. He had defrauded the system, and he had been bragging that he's clean. We cannot do one thing. The first thing we need to sue Mr. Cummings for plagiarism. The statement, the quotation that we cannot do one thing over and over and expect a different result. That's not his statement. When he's speaking of people's statement, he should be quoting them. That's educational crime. So I will be filing a lawsuit against Mr. Cummings for that. That statement he always used is not his making. He was not the author of that statement. He should be referencing the author of that statement. That's that educational crime. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take another caller right here. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling from?
This is River Says Pro. How you doing, AB?
River Says, how you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. Thank you for the show, man. First of all, I would like to extend my condolences to the family of those that died during the stem.
Let me hold you right there. The number is printed down below. Just press down, and then the number is printed right there. Or you can better call 215-266-215-824-8124. Once more, 215-824-8124 or 267-938-2801. Go ahead.
Yeah, AB, I just want to counter some of the points that the previous caller made. First of all, the president's statement on people having CCTV or their personal camera was misunderstood and misconstrued. In the United States here right now, I got my app on my phone. I can monitor my house for my job. The United States has one of the greatest securities in the world. We got FBI, we got U.S. Marshal, we got police, we got every security jurisdiction. But people still have they have ADT cameras in their home. That's a personal security.
That is by choice. That is by choice.
But yeah, it is by choice. But it.
I'm coming to you. That is.
If you live in Liberia,
that is by choice. That is by choice.
Yeah,
So I want for
but
you to get that.
yeah, but if the president say if you because the police are not going to be in every jurisdiction. The police are not personal security. They're not going. Even in the United States, you have to call 911. They don't go sniffing in bad neighbor. I mean, they do patrol, but that's still not enough. Criminals can still do something. So it doesn't mean they're going to be sniffing around everybody's house to see if they're safe. And then number two, the government is not obligated to provide security at every public gathering. It's our constitutional right to have the right to assemble. That's our inalienable right. So the crusade, unless the organizer requests security. So, and you were talking about if the church got security. Maybe I grew up on Kerry Street, Benson Street Mosque. They never had no security. Up to now, they don't have security. Mosque here in the United States, even after September 11, some people threatened the Muslim community after the Twin Tower bombing. There was a lot of these white guys, they said they were going to disturb the mosque. But the government did not say, oh, we're going to send up security to every mosque because people are threatening the Muslim in the United States. So we got to get that right. Now, the government is not obligated to provide security to every gathering. Zogo is a serious threat. They are a serious threat to the nation. We should be discussing the Zogo, how to get them eliminated, how to get them massively incarcerated, lock them up. Yes, mass incarceration. Let me give you an example. Avi, United States used to be called the Wild Wild West. If you heard that word, Wild Wild West. If you think Liberia was worse with, people used to get on horseback coaches and rob banks. They were controlling the whole atmosphere. But the president came up during the 18th century. They came up and said, no, to hell with this nonsense. It happened in Ivory Coast, Hofo Bonje. The bandit from Yamoussoukro going to Abidjan, they got control the whole route. But what happened today? Abidjan is one of the safest routes. I lived in Ivory Coast for years. Now let's come to Iraq. After the Iraqi war, the Fallujah, one of the most dangerous areas. All those people, they were suicide bombing, terrorism, harassing people. George Bush, the commander, they surge, SURGE. They started going from home to home. The Democrats were against it. They said, oh, that's people. But when they started going in those homes, those same people, that were pretending that they are father, they are mother. Those people had AK-47 right under their baby cradle. Some of them riding the baby or stuff, the baby, then they got pistol in it. So after that, you never hear about Fallujah anymore. They search, they disturbed them. They hunted those people. That's how they killed Abu Musa al-Zarqawi and all those terrorist group over there. They searched, they locked them up. Ever since, you don't even hear Fallujah in the news anymore. The government needs to carry on search on the whole Zoko population. Those people, they don't mean business. People call them disadvantaged youth. They're not disadvantaged youth. Those are just criminals, gangsters. They want to harass our people, AB. We need a safe country, the same way people can go to Florida to a warm weather, to have vacation. We want to be able to go back home to enjoy our country. You can have a group of people roaming the street, then people blaming the pastor, the pastor offering. It ain't got nothing to do with anything, AB. People have the right to assemble. The Zogo has no right to threaten people. When you buy cell phone for your own family, you can't talk to them because Zogo's standing right near them. What kind of nonsense is that?
Okay, hold on.
Can I just say,
okay.
Yeah, I'm not asking questions. I just want to provide some information.
Hold on.
Riverside Pro,
I hear you.
Okay, I think my host will give it to you. Let me just see.
Yeah, you have to put your phone on mute and then listen to his comment on Facebook, and then you can come back.
Okay, Evie.
All right. It's good that you said there is a misconception when it comes to president. We are talking about everybody responsible for themselves. The same way Alexander Kumi spoke about the gay issue, that he was not only conflicted but he struggled with it. That is the same kind of analogy you are bringing when President we are talking about security. The security camera we got in our homes, it's not really about our personal protection. It is just about us monitoring our home when we have children. That's the basic. Like, I do the same thing. I got it here too. Okay? Because this country, sometimes conversation, small talk. Let me just call it lightweight. But you have a country, for example, Douala or Point 4 has a depot, police depot. How many police people do we even have in Liberia that are armed and have the necessary equipment? Even the 911 you're talking about, there is 911. There is no functional 911 that exists in Liberia. Because sometimes we come on this talk show or maybe Facebook, whatever we are having, whatever conversation we're having, especially those of us in America, we need to be honest. You know why? I don't need to tell George we are there. I don't need to take a picture before I can survive it. I just need to go to work 4 to 5 days a week. That's it. You know, I don't need to be Nathaniel Magee best friend. I don't need to do anything for anybody in Liberia. I just need to mind my business here and follow the law. But if you say in America, every neighborhood, you talk about the mosque. The masjid that we got in Grand Forks, okay? Every Friday, police is posted there. There is specific number based on community, specific number of people, specific population. Once it go more than that, whether you call the police, you don't call police, they're coming there. Because every time you find a group of people somewhere, more there is a probability of trouble. Okay? So in Liberia, whole country, how many police officers do we have? Equipped. You think that the citizens will do that for themselves? It is the government that's also recruit the police, pay the police, equip them, and give them power, legal power to do their job. We do not have that. I'm not suggesting that this thing just happening today. It's been happening, but the government that in power now is responsible, my brother. The government in power is responsible for the death of those people. If the government think the Zogo issue is a national security issue, they need to address the issue of Zogos. Another thing is the DDRR component. The DD went fine because we disarmed, according to UN. What is the RR component? RR component is supposed to be a long-term conversation, long-term effort, long-term investment, so that those are our brothers and sisters that tow guns and weapons and people force them into it, majority of them. What are we doing for them? Are you suggesting to us that the government should follow the Zogo and get all of them off the street just the way, because of the way they look like, and incarcerate them or possibly slaughter them? Is that what you're telling us? This analogy you make comparing Liberia with America when it comes to security is just similar thing that those South African and Ugandans that we played earlier. Comparing Krikama to that tomato. That's what you're talking about. It is not true. There is a Second Amendment trouble in the country. That's a pandemic, in my opinion. The issue of gun violence, it is not what we got in Liberia. Gun violence in America is not what we got in Liberia. Liberia's situation is way 360 degrees far away from here. It is a massive government failure, not just to this government, from yesterday to today, but this one is worse.
Thank you. Kora, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here, AB.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, AB. Oh, who, me, AB?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so AB, this where I said, so, yeah, Francis made, can you hear me?
Yeah, you live.
Yeah, Francis made a lot of great points, but let me tell you something. When he talked about security being posted, look, I live here in Wisconsin. I went to visit Brooklyn Park, and I was surprised. That particular area got police there. Okay, now, some of the area the police are posted there because there is a circumstantial threat there. There is something, there is a new threat. There is like maybe drugs being sold there or gun violence. So you will see like the increasing police and you will see constant patrol. Other than that, other neighborhood is just normal patrol. So that's okay, that's one thing. Yeah, and then the Zoko issue Abby, let me tell you something. United States got the highest amount of incarceration in the world, in this country. Liberia got one of the lowest, according to Masoni. People scared of jail in that place. I'm telling you, AB, when they start, AB and Francis, when they start rounding people up, trust me, when they start rounding those guys up, They start rounding those guys up. You would trust me. They take that search. They get extra security. If the government need to recruit extra security, they need intelligence. Zoko got family. You know. Yeah. So yeah. That's my point. Thank you for having me, AB.
Thank you. Carter, what is your name and where are you calling us from? Hello?
Yeah, hello, AB.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Hassan Douglas calling from Twin City, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, son, go ahead.
Yeah, AB, my concern have to do with two things, especially the first one. The guy that came said that it's not government prerogative to provide security for every gathering. Why would you say that? If you say the
Hello?
government idea to protect life and property, it means that every single individual or every single Liberian is an entitlement to the government to protect their life and their property. So if the only thing I expected of him to say, if he has special gathering like that, consult the government to provide you security. Then people will understand. But if you come and say not every gathering government should provide security for people, it's their obligations to do.
But how many manpower do we have in our security for them to be posted in every place and corner when people are having crusade?
No, see, Kamara, I'm not talking.
Yeah.
Have to do with. I know that we don't have much manpower. Liberia have the least manpower compared to other countries.
Okay.
Half portions of other military said they don't you don't even compare it to Liberia own.
So what is the
Other
point?
countries.
So what is the point?
So my point is, if you come on big or if you come on social media, if you want to give or your own knowledge to the people, don't mislead the people by saying it's not the government obligation to give or security to every gathering.
Okay.
You can talk about the insufficient security, but it's their obligation to provide security for every Liberian.
Okay. Thank you.
And from the standard perspective.
Thank you.
Second one have to do with, I'm not finished, AB. Second one have to do with the ladies that call. She spoke my mind really about Mr. Comey. You know, or you cannot know a corrupt person unless when you live in a corrupt society. Mr. Comey have not carried on any leadership when it comes to weighing governmental leadership in Liberia. Corporate work where he was having his leadership is different from Liberia. And he just went recently. What he's doing now is different from what he's saying. A corrupt person, a clean person will never allow to be around corrupt people, especially Musability is one. Two, the men have manipulated all the system from party to party, in order to bring down the other people. That alone is a corruption by itself.
Okay.
So it is just wrong in themselves.
Okay.
And you get to realize at last that town already against him. Because Solicitor General will never come out to give a letter for arrest if they don't have sufficient evidence against you.
Thank
So
you.
that's the point. Thank you, too.
Thank you. Carter, what is your name and where are you calling from? Carter calling from 5788. What is your name and where are you calling from?
AB, my name is Paul and I'm calling from Rhode Island.
Go ahead.
Yeah, AB, the guy who just left the line, tell him the person that called was a man, not a woman. I pause too for that correction. That's one. Okay, AB, I want to make two emphases. One has to do with the agriculture minister that was on Spoon TV today, and I have a few comments there. And then the next one has to do with the court issue regarding Cummings. Now let me start with the agriculture minister. The agriculture minister lied today
when Spoon TV asked her whether she hired her relative, she said no. Later on, she came back and said she hired her brother, gave him consultancy and other stuff. But she wasn't the one who hired him personally, but she was the one who approved his contract. Now,
I'm coming to you.
there's something people need to understand in the public financial management system. It's a system that works. The conflict of interest, whether the deputy minister for administration of agriculture, who does the hiring in conjunction with the HR, hire your brother, you approve the letter.
Hold on.
So once you approve his letter, definitely you have violated the Public Financial Management Act of 2009, thereby leading you to conflict of interest. That's one. Two, Dr. Richardson tried to defend her on the basis of female solidarity by saying the agriculture minister said she was not involved into the direct hiring, but another person. Hey, Dr. Richardson, when your sister or whoever, Dr. Florence Chinonwe, was Minister of Agriculture during the Ebola period, she carried on a lot of massive corruption at that ministry. By then, there was something called the Quick Impact Project. In 2014, when that Ebola struck Liberia, I worked with that project. I represented the Ministry of Finance along with Judy Bidell. We went there. We stepped on a lot of things. And today, Dr. Chinonwe will always say that frisky ball. At that time, Minister Kone Amara was the Minister of Finance. I'm saying this to say that agriculture ministry has been like that. There are a lot of conflict of interest. All the deputy minister, director, and other people, they divert the ministry funding to their personal farm. That's what they do there, and the state do it there now. So you need a robust and strong leader who will clean the system of agriculture and enable the Liberian sector. Now, let's look at the last aspect that has to do with the code of commerce. I always heard people on Spoon TV, especially Tumani George, coming out to say there's a rising star of Mr. Silla, the legal team, and lead lawyer of commerce. And they're asking, parading with a statement that's saying why the prosecution requesting evidence of commerce. Now, one thing they need to understand is that the evidence was not contested. If it were contested, that's a different issue. But it's not contested. So as such, the prosecution has a legal right to subpoena Cummings through the court. If Cummings refuses to produce the framework document that he had submitted to NEC, the prosecution can also use the court through a subpoena issue, subpoena on NEC to produce that document. And when that happens, Cummings will be cross-examined. He will be cross-examined, and then they will ask him, "Do you know about this?" If he says yes, how did it get to NEC? Definitely, Cummings is shooting himself in the leg, and then his supporter, blind loyalists, are parading with it and don't understand the legal proceeding surrounding the legal matter that is in the criminal code. Criminal defendants coming needs to understand this. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. What is her name and where are you calling her from?
Yeah, this is Judo Care from Alexandria, Virginia.
Judo Care, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for taking my call. This is an interesting topic. Let me just give you some analysis. 2018 and 19 in Ivory Coast, how did the Ivorian handle the Azogos? They run all the young guys in from Abidjan. They brought trucks and they sent them back to their various villages. If they catch you in the city doing nothing in Ivory Coast, the government will arrest you and incarcerate you and put you in jail.
So you think by us, by you riding the Zogo out and sending it in the Avera County, you think that They were provided education
No,
facilities.
I come into that. I just give you what Africa did. Africa did their own that way. But why I then come to Liberia? For me personally, people say, oh, the government should take action against the Zogo. But for me, I strongly believe if the government going to take action against the Zogo, then the government should also take action against the warlocks who created the Zogos to be banding the country today. And it is very, very political. So that's something to say. Yeah, who ordered the Zoko there to go on the field to go kill the people? That's why it needs to be investigated first before you take action. If I was the president of Liberia today, to combating the Zogo problem in Liberia, it would be an easy thing. I would not use any security forces in Liberia. I would bring special forces for different countries. What they don't speak English and they will not compromise with anybody. If they come to arrest you and you say you're not going to be arrested, they may not use force to take you down. That would be one of the solutions. But before we take this action, let's find out who is the head of the Zoko. Are they politicians? Because remember, we had two guys on the boys. And remember, they had how you call it? The Sabu unit. Yeah, they had the Sabu unit and they had a Zebra unit. So that is political. People have to be careful what you say. You have to be very careful. We are protecting the warlocks in the country, and the warlocks who they are using. They see people who created what we call Zoko today. And they see people using the poison to kill people in the night, to harass people. Number two, we have to use the Zoko because he knows that he's not popular anymore in the country. Liberian people want him out. If the level the Liberian people said about saying the war crime code, he knows that. So in order for him to intimidate the people, to scare the people, he can use the Zoko picking there in the night to harass the country. So people have to be careful what they say. So for the root cause to be solved, is for us to know what is the cause of the root cause and who is the head. Before you kill the snake, you have to cut the hair from them. So who the head and who? Because Jefferson coaching two guys on the Zoko banner too. And they're using it to operate to scare people in Liberia because they know that the election time is approaching. So they fear tactics. That's what they are using. Me, I'm only advanced with the young people in the country because especially the men in Liberia, that the men in Liberia are advanced with. People that Zoko can attack you, you're over 100,000 people, you can defend yourself, and the government said they're going to defend yourself. You can come together and defend yourself too. You just say that the people be killing your account on Facebook and be talking plenty. You will not defend yourself as a human being. This country we're living in where everybody get gone. Then I want government say somebody can kill me in my house, I will not defend myself. Yeah, I'll go on social media and be crying to the government. No, you have to defend yourself too. Everything is government. Y'all 1,000 people. Few Zoko go down there and call all of y'all yelling and y'all killing each other in the place, and they will blame the government. But we have to know what is the root cause of this Zoko. And I strongly believe the government got hand in it. Opposition to gather under Zoko, and politicians gather Zoko. So the root cause of the problem we have to know where it is before action is taken. Because I don't trust. Let me just say one more thing, please. I don't believe that the government should take action on Zoko, killing Zoko or arresting Zoko and concentrating there. The one you got warlock who killed 250,000 people that's sitting out there, you're not taking action against them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okada, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Minnesota. My name is Terry.
Terry, go ahead.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is that I don't want us to just blame the government. I also think we need to, most of people are blaming the Zogos, they are blaming the government, but I think the guy in question, the pastor, also need to be blamed greatly.
Abraham Kuroma?
And yes, Abraham Kuroma need to be blamed.
Why? Why should you blame Abraham Kuroma?
Thank you. I myself, I'm a spiritual man. I'm a leader I'm a pastoral man. You first of all, Liberia right now is not safe when it comes to the Zogos. If you listen to all the radio stations, the people telling you that there are certain places the citizens cannot go after certain hour in the night. Citizens can go there. Like this morning, I was listening to Costa show. The Costa or the guy was saying that real life broad day in real life 2 o'clock those Zogos can jump on you and take your things from you. And if you don't something, they will try to starve you. The boroughs of Nukutown, that particular detail fee, is a risky terrain. Is a terrain controlled by Zogos. So you being a pastor, if you wanted to have such program, you should have had the program in the day where the people of that magnitude could find a way easily after the program, at least by 6 o'clock, 6:37, people can be able to find a way to go back home. But if you having that kind of program at that hour, wherein the program ends by 10 o'clock up to 11 o'clock before people going home, obviously the people will get robbed. It makes no sense. Looking at the country now, obviously the people will get robbed. They definitely, you setting the people up to get robbed, and you got a car. You get in your Jeep and you pull off. You leave thousands of people in the street trying to find a way to go back home. Who will you blame for that kind of thing? And also the people too knowing very well that that particular terrain is not safe. Why carry your children there? It's not being wise. In as much as we mourn for the loss of these people, but equally so, it's all based on ignorance too. Knowing very well that this terrain is not safe. Zogos are all here. Anytime they can rape people, then you carry your children there at that time in the night, that particular hour. It's risky, it's dangerous, it's not safe. You know, so I think the parents themselves also put the children at risk, and also the Abraham Kurma man placed his entire congregation at risk. If I was the spiritual leader doing that kind of ceremony, I would never risk my congregation at that kind of hour, given the fact that Liberia right now is not safe, and that particular terrain is controlled by dangerous people, especially at that hour in the night. So that is just my contribution, and we move to, yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe let me just add something there. Let me just make a comment regarding our caller. If he can stay on to listen to it, so that he can hear my comment. You know, our brother talked about the people did not add wise, the pastor didn't add wise. But again, the government got their own guns. They are shooting themselves in their own legs. That's how I see it. When they are talking about Satana program for 2022, they say the country is safe. You listen to Nathaniel Magay yesterday or the day before yesterday on Spoon TV or Spoon Talk on the phone. Nathaniel Magay said they can't do anything much because there will be political outcry. Opposition will talk about it. The very citizen will talk about it. So are you kidding me that the chief of staff to the president of the Republic of Liberia is talking on the radio that they don't have the political will, they don't have any authority to take care of the security of the people, the protection, but even the very police car, those police vehicles, it is written on it. All right, save and protect. So what is that? They say got 911 rating on all the police vehicles, but they don't work. The police budget under Minister of Justice is one of the least budget. Nathaniel Magay office budget is more than the police budget. Why we're not talking the real story? If you stop the pastor, if you stop the Liberian people from going on that open field, you are violating their fundamental right under Chapter 3 of the Liberian Constitution. And it is that constitution that the government of Liberia today and tomorrow that's supposed to protect. That's a first line of responsibility on the part of any government, any country. If you cannot protect your people within the territorial confinement of that country, then you're not worth to be government, you're not worth to be president. Okay? The real issue is, who is responsible? I would say it's just up front. The government is responsible. Those people that die, the government killed them because the government failed grossly to protect its people. Somebody is saying, oh, police can't be everywhere. We understand. But who went to heaven? They got a police depot right there. Point 4. There's a police depot there. Do we have the qualified, competent, and well-equipped police? No. We don't even have the manpower. But we're not talking about that. We are chasing political opponents, putting money into the budget to prosecute people in court. People that disagree with us as a government. But we are now equipping the police and we are now recruiting people. We are not sending people outside of the country to learn, or we are not encouraging people to join the police. We want to blame the pastor, we want to blame the poor people. Another thing is poverty and hopelessness. I think Liberian people were a little bit hopeful during the previous government, a little bit hopeful. But this government have made the people hopeless to the point that the people go to Solution Temple, okay? The Solution Temple pastor asks them to give him anything, and they go in there, even suffocation.
Please leave your...
People are sweating, okay? Just so their God that they believe in can bless them to get food to eat. Because there is no hope, there is no employment, there is no nothing. Government has failed miserably. And that is the reasons why we are going through this. That is the reasons why 29 people have just died. And more could die as we move towards election. You can remember during the campaign, George, we are dividing money on Zogos. You remember that?
Yeah, we have a caller on the line.
All right, let me give the caller a chance to talk. I can sit there and knee on and on and on. Just we are and
This is Lazario. I just called to debunk the brother that came up. I spoke in two different ways. I said the lady that came that talked about Mr. Comey and the brother that left. But I never all the two people I talked about, every one of them were not men. One female, one male. I just called for a point of correction.
Why?
Oh, there's a guy that came instead, or the person that I talked about was a lady, and it was a man. It was not a lady, and there are two persons that spoke. One lady is one man.
Why?
And when I was giving the scenario, so people can just come out and want to denigrate somebody on social media, which of course you can listen better to get the information. So I just came to make clarity on that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Loud call another caller who called that we missed. Yeah, as you are saying, the government is surely to be blamed. The government is to be blamed in the whole thing. The government is to be blamed today. The government is to be blamed tomorrow. Okoro, what is your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Rhode Island. Eddie, I still want to make a clarity on something. Since your show began, there was no lady call. There was no lady who had called. I called, and he referred to me as a lady. Let me say something. That is my voice. You can't change it. There was no lady call on the show, and there has been no lady who have called. So get that straight. Paul Jebo was the one who called.
Thank you.
It's better to listen to the name of the person, then you know whether it's a lady or a guy.
Thank you. Okoro, what is her name?
Hello?
Yeah, what is her name and where are you calling her from?
I mean, you're supposed to know the number now. This is Aliyu Kamara. How you doing?
Yeah, Naba. Bro, Ali, okay. I will store your number now for now on.
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
and you must text me. Francis is. I try to go on your site to find out if Francis was talking about whatever you were advertising. If you get a chance, text it to me, man. Yeah. Okay. Listen. Look, let's be frank here. There's nothing happening now that to some extent did not exist before. The problem, and I want to.
What does that mean?
Okay, I want the citizens to listen very cleverly, very, very, very keenly, because look, what I'm trying to say is, people think Zogo started under Ellen or under George Weah. Zogo did not start under these people. I remember in the early 80s, exactly 1980, I remember, I don't know whether you were born, Jose. I remember we used to have the Gilbert Tucker Bridge. Under there were dwelling places, there were total home. And I'm sure Francis can relate to this. We used to call them grenade ball back in the days. Exactly what's going on now. When the guy used to hijack anyone and go under those bridges, nobody went there. The very security forces, the police forces at the time, are the only one who knew the ringleaders of those criminals. You understand what I'm saying? However, Monrovia was safer. Monrovia was safe. And that was because there were things put in place to making sure that those guys did not easily leave the so-called control area, that waterside area. All right? And there were enough troops and trained people to contain them if they ever tried to go too far. There was some consideration given that they were Liberians and they were people who, had some mental challenges, but the country was still safe. Now, coming to this government, Abraham, to tell you the truth, this government has failed. Instead of containing the number of Zogos or reducing the number of Zogos like people did back in the days of Tobo and Doe and other people, under this government, the Zogo population is increasing. They are in multitude. They are in multitude. They are all over the country. Who told you, and they want to make excuses about war, who told you that prior to the war there were no drought in Liberia? But the security forces would have enough dignity to contain it to a certain degree. Okay? And this government has failed to do that. There are drug influx from all across the border into Liberia. Sierra Leone and Guinea, they're doing pretty well containing drugs in their country, or the influx of drugs in their country. Liberian government is doing absolutely nothing about it. You understand? So the excuse that, I'm just trying to make that point, the excuse that, it happened before, or Zogo did not start on a judgment, that is not an argument. Whenever you take over a country as a leader, you come with an agenda, with a vision. You make promises to the people, and your first obligation to the society is the protection and the safety of your people. That is your first responsibility as a leader. Failure to do so makes you not only redundant, but make you someone who doesn't know why they're president in the first place. Let us be particularly honest about that. Look, Avi, I listened to a lady on your platform recently, a few minutes ago, who actually added a lot of value to this conversation this evening. There's so much going on in Liberia that exhibits incompetence. Too much stuff going on in Liberia. One, the lack of proper information dissemination on the part of the government, on all aspects of the government. If someone believes that by asking Alexander Cummings to present the part of the document that he may have submitted to the election commission is illegal, then that person doesn't really understand. If Alexander Cummings does not present that document on the day, whatever day the court may set, the court will order or subpoena the National Election Commission to present the document that was submitted to them by Alexander Cummings. Either way, it turns out Alexander Cummings is not off the hook, and this doesn't look good for Alexander Cummings. By using the public against the government or using public sentiment against the government, it's not going to add nothing. But before I go, let me provide this solution or this objection to the government. People saying, the government is responsible, the pastor is responsible, and this and that. The pastor is not responsible for anything. There is no pastoral church in the United States that has to consult national defense or the justice ministry before they go to church or go to a crusade. Okay? First of all, a crime is a crime. No one gave the Zogos the authority to walk to people boldly and take what belongs to them. That is against the law. Okay? So again, it is the government's responsibility to making sure that that doesn't happen. They have to use every means necessary. Another thing I wanted to clarify. A lot of people say, oh, it's because of the war, the people who fought the war brought us Zogo. Look, 99.9% of the people you call in Zogo today never even saw the war. Most of these guys are in their 30s and the late 20s.
So the Zogo thing have been existing in past time?
Before Trump made it, we had Zogos.
So they used to call them Zogos?
We used to call them grenade ball. Forget about the nomenclature.
Okay.
We used to call them grenade ball. But they did the same thing. You understand? So, but the other people were able to keep the citizenry safer than these guys. And these guys are reneging. These guys are refusing in the eyes of the public that they are not going to provide security. They are not going to prevent the situation from happening. Look, let me tell you, Abraham, these guys you're calling Zogo now they're not fighters. They never fought. Some of them were not even born during the war.
But
most of these boys were born.
Some of them is because of drugs usage that were causing for them to be on the street.
Then the question is, who's responsible? Let me tell you this. Where again, you have to split that responsibility in two parts. No, let me tell you, if you are 25 years old, which is the end of your youthful age, you're no longer a youth now, you're a full-grown man. And at 25, you finish graduating from LU. You're 2 or 3 years student at UMU. And then you follow your friend and you take drug and you get hooked on the drug. Who should be responsible for that? The government?
No, yourself.
Don't you know better? And that is the scenario with more than 50% of the so-called Zogos in Liberia today. They have been influenced by their friends to try something, and when they try it and get hooked on it, then my cousin or my friend or my auntie, daughter or son should be the victim because they make their own decisions, AB. We cannot keep shifting blame from where the blame actually is. We know the CDC-led government has failed, has continued to fail. They have shown no ingenuity. They have shown no level of vision. However, we cannot blindly blame them for things that they're not responsible for. Let me give you this scenario. There's a guy over there I know, and I wouldn't call his name. His mother sent him at least $300 a month. He went to school and graduated from CWA. And none of his money from the school fees was based on scholarship or anything. The school fee became from his mother and father's pocket. That's to tell you that they are okay. This man is a Zogo. Should the government be here at fault that this man, who has support, has a $300 allowance, something that is way more than the police pay, more than the nurses pay, and he receives that every month, and still becomes a Zogo? Should the government be responsible for that?
No.
So we have to look at this argument from a very honest perspective. We can't put it all on the government. Now, the government failure is by actually disciplining these guys and using the law against this guy to the full force. Now, if it was this was 1998 or 2002 or 2003, and there was this amount of Zogos in the street, then we say, okay, well, the September 18 war just ended not too long ago. Or we can say, well, the law of war just ended not too long ago. We can say those things. Most of these cases you see as Zogos, they were either born 1996, they were born 1995, and if they're all in there, they're born 1994. Most of these cases have no practical experience of the war. And most of them now were born either 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. Most of them have absolutely no experience of the war. They decide, look, I was in Liberia myself, man. You were there. We all ate Gary, right?
Yes.
We all went around. We went to Lapapido. That's how they call it Lapapido. They call it, Oma Megate or something like that.
Yeah,
we all went around Boko. Yeah. Did we go around taking drugs and walking in rail and joking people with knife? No. This is something. This is a conscious decision, AB, that people make. They take these decisions on their own. What I'm saying is, if you decide to be a crackhead, I cannot be responsible. In America here, we have a lot of crackheads, AB. Do you think when a crackhead goes and commits a crime, you think the police can go there and say, oh, this person is a crackhead, so I'll leave them alone? They will test your ass. Because it was your decision to take that drug. It was nobody else's fault. So I'm asking people now, look, the government must take action. Just use the law. We have city ordinance law. We have laws that covers urban areas of Liberia. One, you cannot have slummy areas. That's against the law.
How is the Zoko managed to kill these people? How? That's the thing.
Okay, the Zogos did not kill the people.
How did the Zogo manage to infiltrate among the crowd and pick up and was able to kill 29 or 30 people? How?
The Zogos did not kill the people. Let us get that clear. The Zogos, the people's death can be attributed to the Zogos' action. We have different degrees of murder. We have first degree, second degree, and third degree. In this case, it cannot be first degree. In order for you to emphatically see somebody murder somebody, it has to be a first degree situation. In this case, it may not even be a second degree. We're talking at least third degree.
At least it is third degree.
Yes, because something led to the stampede. Remember, the death here is a stampede. It is not a murder case. It is a stampede. That means people walk over other people. But the preceding incident, what happened before that action took place, now that's a legal issue.
Okay.
It requires court.
Thank you.
Okay? But we have to go after the Zogo with everything burned down, all of their places. We know the ghettos. We know the drug dealers. We know the retail drug dealers. We know them. The police know them. The neighbors know them. The landlords who give them the squatters' right to build these slums know them. Go after the people. It is all possible. Thank you so much, my brother Eddie.
Thank you. What is her name and where are you calling her from?
Yeah, Eddie. This is for Eddie. I don't know why my friend and brother Goss will be calling a lady. Eddie, I want him to stay on the line.
No,
Let me just.
that's not Mr. I would never call you a lady. I want to make that clear, Mr. I would never call you a lady.
Oh, okay. All right, that is clear.
Thank you. Samuel, go ahead.
Yeah, Eddie, what's up?
Nabal.
I just listened to the big brother. He makes some valid point, but some of them I want to disagree. You know, in as much as we're blaming the Zogo, if we're going to share this blame, I think the government will take 80% of it.
Like how? Is the government to go take drugs?
Nah, the government not said it. Where were you the other time when one of the immigration officers said that a lawmaker was carrying drugs in his car? And they carried the lady and asked her to pretend to faint in the chamber so they can say, oh, the woman had medical issue, and then they took her out hurriedly so they can hide things. The Liberian People sometimes can behave like they're not seeing the truth. What a grand that in the House of Representatives, that Papi Flomo, that drug dealer. He was a drug dealer before becoming a representative, and the Liberian People went and voted for him. Fina Bono that the train can call rescue mother. Why did they have that rescue mother name?
Hello?
My brother, in as much as some of the Zogo, we can blame them, like the brother said there, some of them, they got support. That one, I agree with him 100%. Like, even those girls that were talking, I think they had an interview, and one of them said her father in America, her father took her off the street. She went back, but under the influence of her friends, and she went back to the life, which I agree. But you see, to control the Zogo thing, if the government were waiting to fight it, my brother, they were going to stop. Maybe one thing I know about we Liberians, we don't like things easy. If the government would have come down and start arresting people and start taking some serious measures, the number are going to reduce. Chancellor time, when they were ESCOM back in Liberia, it came a time they started harassing people. After a few months, it stopped because they know what they did to them. So the government is not doing anything to help the situation. The reason being, they are trying to buy these people's sentiment to be able to vote for them. That's the reason why the government compromising this whole thing. If the government want to get rid of that Zogo thing today, they can get rid of it today. All the boys they can see behind Jefferson Koji, who are they? Are they not Zogos? the one of the armed robber, the chairman for the Zogo, the guy one that got a radio station in Nigeria, I just forgot his name. The guy was going live, and this guy had net threatening him on the street. The police were standing right there. And Patrick Suru had just got through making statement that he was searching for that guy. He was one of the wanted men on their list. And that guy was there with knife, trying to attack someone. Why the police could not arrest him when there was an arrest warrant out there for him? Maybe, in as much as we want to blame those Zogos, for me, I blame the government 80%. If the government want to end the Zogo story in Liberia, it can end. But because they want to keep feeding on these guys to commit crime for them, when Jefferson Koji went to Central and free all those criminals, when that killing was heavily in Liberia, who they were doing the killing? Are they not the Zogos? Kuba by hand, I know Bele by whatever. And that's also Zogo in our group. So here they be a junction harassing people. Who formed that group? Jefferson Koji. Jefferson Koji formed that group. That's the group they used to harass, intimidate, and embarrass people. And the same Zogo group carry on the chaos. Maybe everybody know Liberia. If the government in power during chancellor time, why would make you so brave to go and see people in gallery like that you attack them when there's when S4D, when ATU is around? Because the security were inside. But George reacted, let me tell you, my brother, the Liberian people made a terrible mistake. I heard people talking about, oh, the government made promises for me and not bring George. We are anything, George. We are not promising Liberian people nothing. They took their own risks. They took their own risk. Nothing George we have promised them. That's why for me, anything George we are do, I don't believe. Because what George we have promised, that's someone show me the speech that George we are telling you in my point 90 day or 100 day, I will do this. The Liberian people took their own risk, and like they said, election got consequences. Our people have to live with it. Come 2023, if they can't change it, then I can always say that we'll be on Facebook to comfort them. We'll be on Facebook to comfort them. So many things we shouldn't just sit there and we don't know what's going on. The same government, they're the ones selling the drugs, baby. They are the ones selling the drugs. Where were you when you were talking about the DA officer then taking the drugs and selling it back? Who they selling it to? Under the administration, the Nigerians are everywhere. You know who control Point 4 Junction? You know who control that place? Or Nigeria. You know who control Kuwait? I got family living there. That Nigeria control Kuwait. If that Nigerian guy said today you leave from...
Where did they call Kuwait?
Pardon?
Where is called Kuwait? Liberia have a Kuwait?
Where? Yeah, Liberia got Kuwait to Douala.
Okay.
I mean, you know Liberia?
No. I just.
That's why the scene where the guy go back, the guy Kuwait, the scene where the guy go back, see real there.
Yeah.
Douala, when they call it Kuwait, the guy go back, see in Kuwait there. Who control that area? That Nigeria. That Nigeria control that area down there. When you send people there, if they prove me wrong, baby, trust me, don't respect me when I tell you anything. Okay. That Nigeria control that area. Police will be standing right there. That Nigerian guy will look at you and slap you. You carry a case, that's their case. What the government is doing to deport some of these Nigerians? Yeah? They were catch Liberia doing something wrong, they deport them. You think why the Ghanaians start getting harsh on the Nigerians back? Why the Ghanaians started coming down hard on the Nigerians? Look at Nako Deke that abused the justice system and embarrassed our government internationally. What they did to him? What the government did to him? So you actually blame the people. It's unfortunate some of them, they should have common sense to make decisions. But trust me, AB, it's like you in your house, you tell your children, say, oh, nobody should drink or smoke here. But when the children say, right, they can't find water, they find liquor. And they test it, what they will drink. And the government leaves them with no other option but to throw drugs in the street. They will find something to keep them busy.
All right.
It's hard. It's a hard thing.
Thank you.
So, Abby, let me just make the last point. How you call it? Those people that die on the field there, I want to tell you this, Abby. In as much as they say that simply, I doubt it. I doubt it, Abby. My late sister was on that field. The story she gave me, my brother, I doubt it. Even one of the ladies that died, I lying near the guy in the black, I know her very well, that Ada Lawrence, the late Ada Lawrence, that his uncle's wife there. My uncle's wife there, I know her very, very well. She was living right next to my father's house.
What is the story that your sister gave you?
Maybe people were there doing that thing intentionally. People were pulling people back. The Zogos came in uniform. They were all in black. Was that a coincidence? Why were they uniform? Why were they uniform, AB? The Zogos went there in black. They were all in black t-shirts. Why were they uniform? If it's not something that was planned, that's number one. Number two, when the people try to run out, to push them back in there. Why was that happening? Something is happening under that thing. I mean, something happened under that story that the government needs to dig deeper. But Liberia, they will say, oh, yeah, let's just leave it. Let's just leave it. When Nigeria were playing Liberia in Monrovia, AB, I know if you are in Liberia for that game, I think 17 or 15 broke. They said free gate. You saw the crowd that were in there that day, AB? How many people died? Ask yourself that question. How many people died from SKD for a council stampede? And then look at the group that were over there, Nukutan, that got so many exits. Nukutan, that got so many exits. And majority of the people that were in that service, that grumble people from Nukutan there, they never came from Broad Street or Cinco or Pins where to say the camera affair. Why is it when LEC went up before the people attacked? Yeah? Something was on it. The initial point of this thing, they said one of the security guys, I think one of those Zogo commander jet something and went in their camp. The guy went there, I think intimidated them, took the stuff up the Zogo person, beat them up, and turned around. I think he shot, I don't know, 1 or 2 shots in the air, because the stories at the moment is just kind of everyone giving their own story. Okay. And I had a Zogo then say, y'all will see it, y'all will go home in peace today.
Thank you.
So the government need to investigate AB. So the drugs empire leave it. The government is the one selling that drugs. The government, most of the Nigerians in our country needs to leave. They are the one causing the problem, and the government is feeding on it because they're getting free money. Your lawmaker that drugs dealer, then you want drugs to be in the country, AB. Thanks for the time, my brother.
Thank you. Quarter, what is your name and where are you calling out from?
My name is Abraham Nasser. I call from Virginia.
AB, go ahead.
Yeah. I want to say hi to you and Francis for the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to make some clarity. To Bibra Aliyu, he said during those days, they used to be called grenade ball. It is true they used to be called grenade ball because my uncle told me in the 60s and the 70s, he was driving for Freeport. But during those days, they even used to get drunk. They would be walking on the street on Broad Street, Ronald Street, Kerry Street. Some of them would even sleep on the street with US dollar in their pocket. There was nobody to take money. Nobody used to steal from them.
And nobody will hammer them.
Yeah, nobody used to even steal from them. He said he can remember he used to drive, and he used to be driving for Freeport in the night. He would see people sleeping on the street. They drunk, but nobody can take one cent from them. Nobody. They had, at that time, what tournament days, they had US dollar floating all over. So why is it that today it getting worse and we're having government that can put things in place? If those days we have the people called Zogo, they call the grenade ball, they were not taking no money for anybody, they were not jacking people's cell phone, but nowadays people jacking people's cell phone. Then what is the root cause?
Okay.
So it will have a government that can look at those days, the mechanism that people put in place those days, and apply the same mechanism for now. We don't think people, the kind of situation that we're going through, it will be going through it.
Thank you.
My condolence to the family, that the bereaved family is sorry for the country, and it's getting worse. All those are bringing drugs in the country. People bringing drugs, meaning the Nigerian people. Our president or the leaders supposed to speak on these things. They're even supposed to inform Nigeria about the citizens bringing drugs in the country. If they catch anybody bringing drugs in the country, they should deport them. They should step their feet down hard and speak as a leader.
Thank you.
Because it is the drugs that are causing a lot of problems in the country.
Yes.
Making people turning to Zogo or stealing people's stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, and they said this our own citizens, they gave room to the people there to build ghetto, to be selling drugs. The people know them. The DA, the drugs enforcement officer, the people know these people. But they're not going after them. The police can't go after these people. If the police go after the drug seller and raid the drugs people and the ghettos, and before going after the Zoco people, because Zoco is not the problem. Those that are bringing the drugs are the problem for our brothers and sisters that are turning to Zocos.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cora, what is her name and where are you calling her from?
Yeah, AB, before you pick up that call, man, let me just say something real quick before I forget.
Hello?
Yeah, Cora, hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, our brother said and the other caller said something. I just want to add my own voice to it.
Yes, hold on.
Okay.
The fundamental reasons why things are going the way they are going with the issue of Zogo, with the issue of Warlord. Majority of the young people, including me, we thought Josvia could be a better president, especially when it comes to political, social, and economic corruption in our country.
Yeah, holding on.
But the reasons why the government have refused to even talk about war and economic crimes is because of votes. Nima County has become a tiebreaker in our political history from 2005 all the way to 2017. So if the government agreed to bring war and economic crimes, then they said will be prosecuted and they will not get vote from Prince Johnson. That's number one. Number two, the Zogo issue, they will not address it. I listened to Nathaniel Magay, if they address that one, the Liberian People will come up with crying, they will say that our right, our days, politician, opposition will take it and fly with it. That's not true. Okay, what is your fundamental and primary responsibility as a government? They will not deal with the Zogo issue. They are also depending on Zogo to vote for them 2023. Okay. That is a problem. And that is the fundamental reasons why we, the people, our security is not guaranteed any longer. Our happiness is not ensured or assured. And our hopefulness is at stake. So we should come out in our majority 2023 and get these people once again at Donald Trump.
Okay.
Let's vote them out. They're not going to do it. These people have come to power with incompetence.
Thank you.
With lack of knowledge, nothing. They're not going to do anything about security. They're going to say that they will get Zogo money to vote for them for the second time and Prince Johnson will close again.
Thank you.
That's the reason they will not do nothing. So for me, other people say 20%, 80%, government responsible 100%.
Okay, I'm on. Okay, thank you, AB. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the show. This is a very interesting topic. But the previous caller, my big brother, I really listened to him. He very articulated well, but there is something he said that got me confused. The first thing he said that the government has failed in containing the Zocos. And he said that it happened from past regime and they were able to contain it. Then he said that the government shouldn't be responsible because people make their own decisions to take in drugs. Maybe you live in the States. What happens when you attempt, when you do something like attempted murder to kill yourself, the government arrests you for that? It's the government's responsibility to protect the lives of the citizen and property. Yeah. So I don't understand. Let me tell you my own experience, something I saw. I lived in Canada. 2019, when I was in LRB, I used to work with LBS. I went to work right to LBS Junction. Right to the junction, you know what LBS, where they get a basketball court.
Yeah, I know LBS.
Yeah, while trying to pay the driver, right at the junction, they have people more than 15 people sitting. I had US $30 in my short pocket. So I was taking the money from my back pocket, the LD. The people in the taxi, all of them saw this guy. Because the US was showing in my small pocket. So the guys, I had $30, the guys started taking it off. I didn't know. But everybody's face in the taxi changed. The people that were behind the guy, nobody could talk to tell that guy, say, oh, to tell you how the people are afraid. Because even the security Another one happened against the Viewpoint. There was a guy, they guys and they say they have vigilante right to Viewpoint. All the prostitutes that pay due to them. Their girl didn't pay her due. I saw the guy running behind the girl with collars. When I intervened, the guy told me? He said, even the police commander to red light know him. He said, go call, you call the guy, I know the guy was in Manuel or something.
So how can we be
He
able
said
to stop this?
It starts from the government. The first thing the government start paying the people 5,000. And just what the other guy was saying, Jefferson Koji and all the guys in government control this group. And even the guy they have for the judge enforcement, what is the Marcos? He's my own friend. I won't be afraid to say it. Marcos too is a drug addict. He's the head for the drug agency. One time, somebody came out and report that he was stealing the drugs and selling it. What came out of it?
Nothing.
All right. Thank you.
Nothing came out of it. The same guy, Marcos. And my bro, going down the ball.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Cut off from 9944. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Abby. I've been waiting too long, but good. I'm on now. Okay. Good to be on the show tonight. My name is Roland Yima, and I call from North Dakota. I want to say hats up to you and your co-host, my friend and brother, Francis Duno. Well, let me just lay my 2 little cents on the topic tonight and, add my little voice to what's unfolding. Here's the thing, and AB, the truth of the matter is, I want to be clear. And number one, look, even in the Bible says Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. At the end of his fast, the devil came to him and said, if you are truly the Son of God, jump over this mountain and fall to the ground. The Bible says Jesus responded to him, say, thou shalt not trust thy Lord thy God. So even all the pastors knows that you cannot put God to test. But here's the thing. The pastor of Abraham Kroman, I believe right now at this stage he's kind of in a state of mental instability because of what has happened. But he will share some of the blame. Because number one, AB, that community, Negro Town, we already know Negro Town. The community itself is not just the name Negro Town. Before the war, after the war, we heard about Negro Town. Then west of all, currently, Negro Town is loose because of the drugs activity that is unfolding. Negro Town, West Point, Clara Town, Sony Wen, those slum communities, those are the highlights of Zogos. Now, I think he would have taken a stringent measure to have involved the government to have provided him, few security before the crusade or whatever that was going on, whether tariff or whatsoever. But I'm not too sure. I may be wrong, and I stand to be corrected if he ever, contacted the state security or contacted the justice ministry to help and provide some security.
For what?
Now, the reason is, AB, the reason is the country right now is volatile.
The country right now does not have sufficient manpower of security. So Abraham Kroman was to go to contact the police or the justice ministry to tell them that I will be having crusade?
Exactly. He should have done that because it is the life of people. He was coming to have a program or a crusade where people will stay up that late, okay? And when you are putting the life of people, putting people's lives on the line at that late hour, knowing the insecurity, the sensitivity of the insecurity of the country, you know how many people have died, auditors, 4 auditors died without any accountability.
he should have done that, number one.
Okay.
Even though he didn't do. My point number two is I want to register this. Abraham.
Nobody needs to even steal from.
Here's a country where we have a leadership that is one-sided. Okay? I don't know if you can remember. There were people that died in Nima County, I think on the month, more than 30 people, I believe. Somebody can help me with the number. Okay, these people are mining, and they said they got crushed into the deeper hole in the mound. Our president, up to now, has not sympathized with Nimba County since the death of the loss of life of those people in Nimba County. Yeah, it said every time when it comes to Nikrutan, when something happened, you saw the president was in no time he was there. You can't be a president of a nation and you one-sided. That's being tribalistic. Okay? I want to register that. It's wrong. It's wrong. When something happens in the country, whether it's Nima, whether it's Lofa, which country, you as a president, you are the father of the nation. You must identify with every tribe. Okay, that's point number two. And let me say this again. Look, the issue of Zogos in our society, it is very serious as we listen to our senator who we consider the light, even though the light is little bit trying to dimmer, but we can still increase it with more voltage that will shine more, higher than it was. Abraham Darrell Dillon has sung this song over and over that, look, we are growing a society where tomorrow it will embarrass us and will not have the solution to the problem. The sooner, the better. Every part of Liberia, you have Zogo. Don't even mention Central Monrovia, Rayleigh, Banaville. You saw what happened to Oliver Dillon. He tried to protect himself, self-defense. He was attacked by one of the Zogos. So you can see that everywhere, you can't move free. The Zogos are everywhere wanting to take your property because they want to go and, take drugs. And government is not doing anything about it. And the third point I want to make is, why will government do something about this thing when we heard when the government just took over, the first thing they started to do was to re-empower the ex-generals. How can you have a society where we had a situation of a war and we had disarmament and rehabilitation and then the government came back to reassemble.
Thank you.
Ex-generals. These ex-generals,
thank you,
as the ones that are still helping to build more cells. They are building more cells because they know, even from the days of Charles Taylor, the more they get drugs to these people, the more they got protection from them.
Trump, and I
so they keep them in a position that these people will always give them information and be able to. So government, it kind of beat my imagination whether government is, in the readiness or has the political will to even remedy this situation. Maybe until we have the next government.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was our last caller, folks. So when you call here currently, your phone call will not come through. So now get our friend and brother parting statement. Then Pastor Charles Ako, you call late. I'm sorry that I will not be able to pick up your call because you called late. Let's go ahead.
All right, folks. I want to say thank you plenty to our viewers and our followers, our audience, our everything. Thank you for joining us tonight. I think we will have to do this on a weekly basis so that we can give people the opportunity to share with us their own perspectives, their own thinking, their own ideas as it relates to our country, Liberia. But all we gotta say, you know what? In the House of Parliament, democracy for the most part, I'm not talking about autocracy. Lawmaker got three responsibilities: lawmaking, representation, and oversight. The executive branch of government leader got 3 in 1: political unity. President, head of state, and commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Liberia. That power, the number one thing that comes on the plate is the protections of the people. If our government and our president cannot protect our people, he ain't worth to be president. He need to go. If our government under Judge Weah is not able to address the issue of security, protection, and safety for our people, we can talk anything. We can make it with politics, this and that, but we can't make security with politics. We can't make safety with politics. We can't make protection with politics. This is real. We're talking about the life of the people. My people, it is serious. All of us have a side to take, but you know what? When it comes to that, I don't want to be creeped on when I'm walking or when I'm driving. Folks, without much ado, I want to say thank you very much for joining us tonight, and thank you for your contribution. Have a good night. Have a good day, depending where you are. Bye now.
Let us say thank you to all of our audience. Thank you for tuning in, because this is the best thing for us to do.
The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie